Coming up on today's show, Tennessee not holding a spring game this year. We'll tell you why that's the case. Also, Paul Finebaum commented on why LSU signed quarterback Jayden Daniels and why it's such a big story. We'll tell you what Finebaum had to say. And a guy who spent the last 5 seasons with the Tennessee Volunteers, offensive lineman K'Rohjn Calbert, is going to stop by the show as we look back on his career in Knoxville and talk about his decision to hit the transfer portal. Also get his thoughts on what the 2022 Vols are going to look like. Locked on SEC starts right now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. Great to have you guys along. Today's episode is brought to you by Run Your Pool. March Madness is here, and Run Your Pool has a better way to create your bracket. RunYourPool.com, the premier sports pool hosting service. I'm ChrisGordy. Thanks for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On SEC is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube and at LockedOnSEC.com. We're going to talk with K'Rohjn Calbert in just a minute, but first, we got plenty to get into. Let's go around the conference.
Boots out to the right. Takes the handoff. What a catch!
Around the conference.
Speaking of Tennessee, they are heading into their year 2 under Josh Heupel and raised expectations, and a lot of fans are excited about the spring and getting ready to see what Hendon Hooker looks like and all the new pieces. Well, fans going to have to wait a little bit longer, as it was announced the annual orange and white spring scrimmage will not be played this year. According to a release from the school, construction at Neyland Stadium and scheduling conflicts with other venues, the traditional orange and white game will not be played this spring. Instead, Tennessee said it will host an all-vol weekend with tons of events for fans. It'll be a fan-friendly spring weekend featuring multiple volunteer teams in action and a Fan Fest tailgate from April 7th to April 10th on campus. Baseball will welcome Missouri for a 3-game series at Lindsey Nelson Stadium that weekend. Fans will be treated to post-game fireworks on Saturday night. All 3 games are sold out. Tennessee will open the 2022 football season at home against Ball State Saturday, September 3rd. Speaking of Josh Heupel, they didn't have to look very far for their new wide receivers coach. The Vols on Monday promoted offensive analyst Kelsey Pope to wide receivers coach. Of course, Cody Burns left this offseason for a similar role with the New Orleans Saints. Pope is an Alabama native, worked closely with the wide receivers last season as an analyst. He was a passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach at Gardner-Webb for a season before joining Heupel's staff. He previously served as a wide receivers coach at Tennessee Tech in 2019. Paul Finebaum and some other folks are sharing their thoughts on the new LSU quarterback, Jayden Daniels, transferring in from Arizona State. It's a big addition for Brian Kelly and his new staff and his new team. On Monday, Paul Finebaum was on McElroy and Kublik in the morning on Jocks FM in Birmingham, and Finebaum said, look, I think this is a very big story. Is this a Joe Burrow moment? Is this going to be a transformational moment for Brian Kelly? So this guy's a really good quarterback, but is that all they need? Joe Burrow played 2 years down there, and he had a cast around him that was spectacular. He said, I don't think LSU has that now, but I think it was smart. I think Brian Kelly probably doesn't know what he has, but he knows this guy's probably better than everyone who has migrated. I think it's a very smart decision. Big battle, man. This spring is going to be Miles Brennan, the incumbent, who, by the way, has struggled with injuries, unable to stay healthy, against Jayden Daniels, who, for the most part, has stayed healthy. It's just his numbers kind of took a dip last year. The interception totals went up. We'll see, but it is going to be an interesting quarterback battle throughout the spring and into the summer for LSU football. Over at Georgia, Matt Luke, of course, made the shocking decision to step away from the Georgia staff this offseason. And he did an interview this week with Dogs 24/7, explaining what led to his decision and how he feels about it. Luke said coaching football is all he's ever done since he graduated. He said it's uncharted territory. He said there's a lot of fear, nervousness about it. He said, I didn't want to have any regrets. My oldest son's 14. The youngest one's 10. I didn't want to have any regrets about seeing them grow up and being there. I've been blessed and fortunate in my career. I told Kirby Smart I would help him win one. It just so happened to be a little bit faster than I thought. So he said, look, everybody was first class from the time I got to Georgia and made it a very, very tough decision to step away. And the toughest thing was walking in that offensive line room and telling those players that I was stepping away from football. Luke did add that he and his family are staying in the Athens area and they're not planning to move. Marcus Lattimore, of course, the star player at South Carolina for many years. He was a member of the staff during the Will Muschamp era, and he was on Gamecock Central podcast this week, sharing his thoughts on the end of the Muschamp era and the mistakes he made. Lattimore says he stayed connected to the program since he was a player until about 2 years ago. He was South Carolina's director of player development for 2 seasons. He was then replaced by Connor Shaw. He said, look, there's factors that you can't see. For example, there were things in the weight room where things weren't gelling. There were links. Everybody has to be on the same page. There were links within the building that were off. And the building as a whole, I don't think we were doing a good job of creating a unified culture. Everybody was separate, and it felt more business-like. And when you're dealing with human beings, yes, there are times for business, but human beings need to be seen, heard, loved, cared for. That was kind of the downfall of Will Muschamp's era at South Carolina. So interesting conversation there from Marcus Lattimore at South Carolina. And there you have it. That is around the conference. When we return, we're going to catch up with K'Rohjn Calbert, former Tennessee Volunteer. That is coming your way after I tell you about Stat Hero. What's happening, guys? We love the tournament, postseason basketball, and if you are one of those people who loves to fill out your brackets, look, I can't remember the last time I won any money in doing it with my buddies, but look, Stat Hero, they are offering you a different way to get in on the action this postseason. Stat Hero's NCAA single game pick'ems pits the star players against each other in an amazing hybrid between fantasy and sports gambling. Take control back from those handicappers that always seem to have the advantage. Start focusing on the players you know best with a gameplay that doesn't rely on big spreads, long odds, or funky props. Stat Hero gives you the advantage, resulting in their gamers winning 4 times more often. Why? Because Stat Hero eliminates the mystery about who or what you're going up against. In addition to their pick'em games, they also have dozens of lineups you can comb through to take on head-to-head. They simply post sets of players for you to take on with a set of players you choose. Stat Hero is the easiest and fastest way to get your sports action fix. It is what daily fantasy was meant to be. And right now, if you sign up at stathero.com/lockedon and use our promo code Locked On, that'll get you a 100% deposit match. That's stathero.com/lockedon. Use promo code Locked On for a 100% match. Stathero.com/lockedon. Promo code Locked On. Terms and additions apply. Roll along here, Locked On SEC. Thank you guys again for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. A quick reminder to check out the Locked On Bracket Breakdown coming to you March 14th right here on the Locked On SEC podcast feed and our YouTube channel. You'll catch me, Andy Patton, and betting expert Lee Sterling give you in-depth breakdowns on every matchup. Again, that's going to be the Locked On Bracket Breakdown coming to you next week. Pleasure now to talk with this guy, a guy who has spent about the last 5 years of his career playing in the SEC and playing over there in Knoxville with the Tennessee Volunteers. 6'5", 325-pound veteran offensive lineman K'Rohjn Calbert, coming off his redshirt senior season, still has 1 year remaining. He joins us now. K'Rohjn, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. How you doing?
We're doing good, man. Before we get into what you got going on and all this, I kind of want to go back a little bit through your career because, man, it's been such a long and winding road for you. Take me back to your freshman year because I remember you had a knee injury in high school. You come into Tennessee as a big-time recruit, expecting to contribute early, and you end up, the knee injury comes back and you basically decide to have surgery and you miss your whole freshman year. What was that like?
So, I had tore my ACL freshman year. College didn't expect to do that at all, but it set me back a little bit. I'm still thankful I'm upright today. I'm still playing till today, so that's a good sign. But no, it was it was a little depressing just because, you know, I had high hopes on at least getting in the mix. If not being in the mix, just getting in the mix to play. Got to practice a little bit, practice all the way until fall camp. And I think I tore my ACL like maybe 2 weeks in, and it really killed me. It really killed me. But having my teammates, having my coaches around me, building me back up for the next year was key to getting me back on the field, because I will say that the athletic part of it is that part's easy, but it's really mental, because I mean, it's just you. It's you doing the work, not nobody else. Yeah, somebody else can tell you like, "Hey, man, keep going," or "Good job," or anything like that. But it's you. It's a mental battle with you daily, getting over the injury. And so that's what it was for me. And luckily, I had, like I said, great teammates and great coaches to get me through that.
Now you did it. You appeared in 10 games in 2018. There was a report that came out, and tell me if this is right or wrong, but there was a report that came out that you were possibly deciding whether to retire from football because of the coaching change with Butch Jones out and Jeremy Pruitt in. Was that the case?
No, that was not the case. That was not the case at all. It was more so like looking at myself, like I had to take a step back and look at myself, like, oh, okay, well, I mean, this is a big time, like college, like here 3, 4, 5 years from now, like NFL coaches they're not going to hear that. They're going to know if are you ready. And at that time, I was a freshman. I had a freshman mindset. I'm not saying all freshmen have that mindset. I'm just saying for me and my growing and my doing, my mindset had to change, and that's really all it was. It was really focused. It was really all of my body. It didn't have nothing to do with the coaching changes. I personally thought Coach Pruitt was a good coach. I know we're not talking about that, but I personally thought he was a good coach when I had him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What was it like transitioning from Butch to Jeremy Pruitt? Because obviously two guys with very different personalities.
Oh yeah, it was like night and day. But I every coach I've had, I respect. I respect Coach Jones for recruiting me and offering me. I respect Coach Pruitt coming in and setting a standard, making guys a little tougher. The expectation, the bar, setting it high, and if you're not meeting it, then he obviously wasn't happy. But it was really night and day, because Coach Jones is more like, I don't want to say he was like too laid back, but he was more of like a laid back. Coach Pruitt, he's more he's gonna get like, not that Butch didn't get in your tail, but Coach Pruitt was going to get in your tail. And some guys, or some people, not guys, but some people mix passion, get passion mixed up with just coaching, or disrespect, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Coach Pruitt had a lot of passion, because he truly loved the game. He truly loves the game. And I respect him for bringing a lot of toughness to the program, because while Coach Jones was here, not to say that he didn't, what's the word? Good word I'm looking for? Force the toughness, or reinforce. But Coach Pruitt reinforced toughness day in and day out, and I think that's why the program at Tennessee has grown. I know 1 year we were down, we went 3-7, but that doesn't say anything about the group of people that was around us, and the group of guys that I was around. That doesn't say anything. That just means that year we weren't all there, but great group of guys, and Coach Pruitt was a great coach.
I want to fast forward to 2019, because you ended up having a nice season. I think you started at guard and then started 5 times at right tackle. You were a big part of that O-line that was really playing well, as you guys won 6 straight to finish off the year with the bowl win. Did you feel like that season things were really starting to click for you?
Yes. So again, tearing my ACL my freshman year, and then getting a little play my sophomore year, and then finally okay, K'Rohjn, you gotta be a factor for us. And coming in and being a factor, I didn't want to do anything other than my job. That's all I wanted to do, was my job, and make sure that I was clicking on high ceilings at all times, making sure that I wasn't going to be the reason why we were going to fail. So really, that was my mindset going throughout the whole season. I really felt like I was getting the game of football and grasping it and really upping my level of play and really putting film out there that NFL coaches could look at or scouts could look at and be like, hey, that's a guy that we possibly could use one day. And so really, like I said, Coach Pruitt and my offensive line coach, Will Friend, played a big part in that. And also, again, my teammates played a big role in that because pushing me day in and day out. I couldn't have done what I did without God and them. So, yeah, it was clicking on high feelings for me, man. I really loved that year, and I wish I could actually get a little bit more of that year back. But hey, things are the way they are.
You fast forward to 2021, and man, high expectations. You have a new coaching staff, Jeremy Pruitt, or rather, Josh Heupel coming in. And then you suffer the biceps injury in preseason camp. I mean, did it just feel like, man, what is going on with just all the different injuries? And now this time it's an upper body injury.
So, yeah, man, imagine being in my shoes, and that's for anybody really. And I'm not saying that for me, but I'm just saying for the moment, just imagine being in my shoes. So, I'm planning on, hopefully coming out 2021 to be a prospect for the NFL. But before that, I'm planning on, saying starting, I'm planning on doing that and putting good film out for the year. And the next thing you know, boom, my bicep tears. And if that didn't send me for a whirlwind, I don't know what was going to send me for a whirlwind because that was the last thing that I expected actually. It happened in O-line, D-line pass rush. And, I went down to a knee and I got up and the trainer came over and kind of asked me what was going on. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. I think I might have torn my bicep actually. And we get to the side and, later on during the day, they send me to go in there, get an MRI. And then next thing you know, torn bicep. And so that truly took me back to 2017 when I tore my ACL. Because I had to analyze what had just happened. And so it killed my spirits. At the same time, it didn't kill it enough because I ended up coming back in 2021. I ended up coming back. I worked my ass off. Excuse my language. I'm not supposed to cuss, but I worked my ass off to get back. Man, I'm for real, dude. I worked my ass off to get back and to play with to practice with my brothers one more time, with my teammates one more time, brothers, like I said. That was more important to me than anything, letting them know that I was going to be there, that I wasn't just going to be somebody who got hurt and was like, oh, man, well, don't worry about next year. Nah, I was going to make sure that, they knew that I cared and I knew that I cared. So ended up getting back out there, got to play a little bit. Not as much as I'd like, but hey, it's to me, it's a testimony to my character, my opinion.
More with K'Rohjn Calbert in just a second. But guys, March Madness is right around the corner. That means you need to start thinking now about where you're going to be running your brackets this year. If you want to go for the usual, sure. But if you want to go with the best, we've done our homework, and running brackets with runyourpool.com is the way to go. They got standard brackets. They got other game types like Survivor or really whatever you want. They have options to edit scoring. They offer more intel to make your picks, all the stuff you're not going to find at ESPN or CBS. If you've got a business, Run Your Pool can help you take some of that madness magic, play alongside your employees, or even gain customers. They also offer full customer support, custom branding, and one of the easiest 3-minute setups you will find. Clearly, we believe Run Your Pool in Run Your Pool because that's where we're running our brackets ourselves. If you want to play against us for a shot at a cash prize, join us at runyourpool.com/lockedon. And while you're there, you can create your own pool for your friends and family. Enter Pure Madness at checkout. You can get $10 off your custom pool. All the rules and details will be available up there at the website. That's runyourpool.com/lockedon. That will be your chance to win a cash prize. We look forward to seeing and beating you there. Also, perfect time of year to check out what our friends over at BetOnline.net are offering. Football season, of course, is over. Basketball about to enter the postseason. That's big. There's a lot of information out there that you're going to need. And for all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is your number one spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline, they remain the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news throughout the season and off-season. Is not just basketball, BetOnline.net is your number one source for hockey, boxing, UFC, all the information and coverage that you need. Head on over to their website today. Check them out. You can even do so on your mobile device. Learn more about all the trends and action going on out there. It is BetOnline.net. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. Continue our conversation with K'Rohjn Calbert. Spent the last 5 years in Knoxville with the Tennessee Volunteers. 33 career games played in Knoxville. Certainly looked like you were going to be a starting piece of this team, but you made the decision a few weeks ago to hit the transfer portal, and it was announced you're transferring to Eastern Kentucky. I guess I'll ask the question a lot of Volunteer fans maybe have on their minds. Why now? Why transfer now? And just what went into your decision into making this move?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I graduated from the University of Tennessee. That was a big thing for me to do. I promised my grandmother I was going to do that, and I promised a lot of other people I was going to do that. And from my freshman year to my senior year, again, there's just a lot of things that I got to look back on. There's a lot of relationships that I made, and I'll never regret going to the University of Tennessee. It's a great school. And I made it, like I said, I made a lot of connections, but I just felt as if the time was up for me. I felt like God was telling me, like, hey, there might be a new route that you need to take, you know? And I don't like, for the believers out there, you know, you don't force, like, you just don't go against God's hand. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to pray about it. Talk to my grandmother about it. And I just felt like I needed a fresh new start personally. That's just how I felt, because my mind, it was starting to get cluttered of all the things that have gone on here at the University of Tennessee. And I was just like, a new start might do me better. And so I decided to have a new start with my coach, Coach Walt Wells. Actually, he coached me my 2017 year when I had entered at University of Tennessee. He coached me my 2017 year, and it just so happened that he was here at EKU. It's not too far from Tennessee. Folks who know me know that I'm really close with my grandmother, and she lives in Tennessee, so she's about 3 hours from me, give or take. So that also played a factor as well. So just want a new beginning. I got my degree from the University of Tennessee, and that's what I said I was going to do, and I did that.
Yeah, it's great stuff, man. And obviously, I think at least for the most part, things I've seen on social media and message boards and stuff, a lot of Tennessee fans are saying, we wish him the best of luck. You know, I mean, it's one of those guys, you graduated, you've been there long enough, you end up somewhere else, people are going to be rooting for you. And hopefully you do big things at Eastern Kentucky. You guys have an awesome year. And, man, if you have a big year, you get into the draft next year and so on and so forth. We're only beginning to write the K'Rohjn Calbert story. It's not the end. So
exactly.
Certainly looking forward to seeing that. I do want to get your thoughts a little bit on just some of the guys at Tennessee, since you're kind of just starting to leave there and head on over to EKU. But give me some thoughts on this Vols team kind of moving forward. How different were things when Heupel took over last season? It seemed like a lot of guys liked him and maybe responded a little bit more positively to him than Coach Pruitt.
So again, Heupel he's a player's coach, and he's really all about, like, he'll tell you himself, the football will take care of it. The football part will take care of itself. You got to really truly build relationships with players and know that they care, and know that like the coach cares, and the players got to sense that. And I think not that Jeremy didn't care, not that Coach Pruitt didn't care. I think it was more of that Heupel's a people person, and he'll wait on you a little bit, you know what I'm saying? He'll bring you along, but if you're not one of those who just want to come along, then he'll tell you himself. He wants people who are at Tennessee, who want to be at Tennessee, who want to develop and be the best they could be. Go 1-0 every day. That's the little saying we had while I was there. 1-0 every day. And again, like I said, Heupel, I think he knows how to. I think he knows how to build character. I think he knows how to get it out of you the way he wants to get it out of you. And a lot of folks didn't see. Again, I'll say us because I was there last year, so I'll say us. A lot of folks didn't see us be as successful as we were last year. Now we didn't end the year quite right, but a lot of folks didn't see us being as successful as we were last year. And I think that's a testimony to that team that's there now, because they're going to continue to grow, and they're going to continue to grab recruits, and they're going to continue to push every single day, day in and day out, because this is this is what one of the coaches said. This right here is the dog days of college football. This is when it comes back around to game time, you'll see who was working and who wasn't working hard enough, if that makes sense. So again, credit to that staff, good staff, and they've got great players there. I can't wait to see what they're going to do when they play, because I still have some buddies there: Jerome Carvin, Coop Mays, James Robinson. He's a young guy. Darnell Wright. I mean, really the whole O-line. Like I love those guys, and it was hard for me to leave them, but at the same time, I can't wait to see what their success is.
Well, by that same token, you guys started the year with Joe Milton, but very quickly Hendon Hooker was thrown into the mix. He took over, and man, he really performed well down the stretch of last season. He's coming back now. What did you think of the year Hendon Hooker had, and how much better can he be next year, in your opinion?
So I think he had a hell of a year. I think he knew that if he had an opportunity to take over, I think that he was like, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with everything I got. Mind you, Hendon Hooker is one of the most humble people I've ever met. He had no animosity or any bad intentions or nothing like that. Like that's one of the most cohesive quarterback groups I've seen in a while since I've been around the football, Tennessee, while I was there at Tennessee. Those guys loved each other. They competed each day in and day out. Like, there was no bad blood there. Like, it was like, okay, like, who's going to get the job done for us? Because, again, there's no I in team. We all know that. That's a phrase, right? Well, they're both were about, team, and Hendon Hooker, like, he really, I wish you could understand and like how much that I got to see him grow throughout the year. And like, I can't wait for y'all to see how much more he's gonna grow, because I'm telling you, like, that dude right there, I thought he could have came out for the draft this year, if that makes sense. I thought he could have came out, but he's trusting in God's plan, and that's the plan that he needs to trust in, and I think that's why he came back.
Yeah, and his name's popping up on Heisman preseason watch lists and all kinds of stuff. So I think a lot of people excited to see what he could do this year. Just got a couple more for you real quick, K'Rohjn. I saw you took advantage of the Alante Taylor promo last year. You got your free cookies from the Moonshine Mountain Cookie Company. How many guys jumped on that promo? Because, by the way, you got 2 free cookies to anyone whenever Alante Taylor had an interception last season. But I was going through the pictures, and I saw a picture of you there. You took advantage of it.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, dude, those moonshine cookies are like, look, I ain't never done crack, but that's like crack. I'm trying to tell you, dog. I'm trying to tell you, dude, their cookies are amazing. So anytime that Alante either missed the interception or didn't get an interception at all, dude, we were upset, bro. We'd be like, bro, Alante, bro, those are our cookies right there. Like, come on, dude. But nah, dude, I definitely gonna take advantage of it. I actually bought 12 after I got my free 2. Man, I'm telling you, dog, dude, they're amazing.
Yeah, I mean, next time I'm in Knoxville, I'm definitely gonna have to stop by there and try them out.
Please do.
Last thing for you, K'Rohjn, you graduated with a communications studies degree in December, like you mentioned. I saw you even got an NIL deal with Enzo. Pretty cool for you to be able to still be in school and make some money now, right? This NIL deal is working out for a lot of guys.
Dude, it's huge. I'm trying to tell you, man. It's not like college. It's not like college players were asking for millions, and I'm not saying that some didn't. I mean, obviously there were probably some out there that did, but I think it's just more so like so we can not worry about that on the daily, so we can actually worry about football. Like there's just some things that we have to worry about, and I know we're athletes, and I know we probably get more than the average person, but this is what comes with it. Like we were given talent by God, and it just so happened to be that we can benefit from it. And I think while some think it's not as good, I think it's amazing. Obviously, because it benefits me, but it's deeper than that. And I don't want to go that deep, but it's deeper than that. And so I think it's a great thing that us college athletes are able to use our name, image, and likeness.
Well, K'Rohjn, great stuff, man. You got a great personality and certainly a great disposition, and we're wishing you the best of luck, man, as you decide to continue your college career. Go kill it at Eastern Kentucky, and we're talking about all the guys at the Combine this week. Hopefully, we're talking about your name a year from now and impressing the scouts and everything and heading to the NFL. But man, congrats on a great 5 years in Knoxville, and go kill it over there at EKU. Okay.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on the show, man. It means a lot to me more than you know, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Great stuff there. K'Rohjn Calbert joining us here on Locked On SEC. Appreciate him taking some time out to join us. Great stuff. And great young man. Again, wishing him the best of luck, deciding to transfer over to Eastern Kentucky. He's going to finish his career there. And as he mentioned, a link with his former coach there, and should start immediately. See if he can have a great year and take his talent to the next level, but certainly an accomplished, really solid, good career, and got his degree at Tennessee. Isn't that what it's all about? We talk about student athletes. That is going to do it for this edition of Locked On SEC. Again, appreciate our guest, K'Rohjn Calbert, joining us. We'll be back tomorrow for an all-new edition of Locked On SEC. And a quick reminder, go make your second listen. You can check out the Locked On NFL Draft podcasts, where they're breaking down everything leading up to the NFL Draft. Make that your second listen today. I'm ChrisGordy. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow right here on Locked On SEC.